Okay. Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all to International Women's Day. Uh, I'm Nachiketa Mittal, founder and director of Virtual Law School and Judicial Preparation Advisory Center. I take immense pride in hosting this program today, and I welcome Professor Nishtha Jaswal, Vice-Chancellor of Himachal Pradesh National University, Shimla, Professor Purvi Pokhriyal, Director of Nirma University Institute of Law, Professor Daniksia Cuevas from Miami-Dade College, Florida, Professor Sujata Patil, Principal of School of Business and Law, Navrachna University, Professor Ratnabali from Law Center 1, Faculty of Law, Delhi University. Thank you, Sukanya, for co-hosting the program with me. And I also welcome all the participants, some of my senior colleagues, my friends. I can see Parikshit. I can see some of my students like Dekshita and others. I can see my friends like Sanjung Bedi and even my colleague Aswati. Thank you everyone for joining in today. Uh, I will just take a minute to brief you about the platform on which we are hosting it today, and then Sukanya will take the proceedings forward. So, my dear friends, the Virtual Law School is experiment of its kind, an online law teaching platform that was started last year in April 2020, soon after the national lockdown. And we were blessed to have got support from senior members from legal academia, from former judges of the Supreme Court, and also from senior counsels. So we could formally launch a program with the Honorable Justice A.K. Sikri, Honorable Justice Koren Joseph, Professor Shantakumar, Vice Chancellor of Gujarat National University, Professor Manoj Kumar Sinha, Director of ILI, Professor Yogesh Pratap Singh, the Registrar of National University of Odisha, Mr. Rajiv Luthra, the managing partner of Luthra and Luthra, Mr. Siddharth Luthra, the senior counsel, Mr. P.K. Malhotra, and all other friends from legal academia who came forward for the formal launch. And we started teaching pro bono. I'm very happy to tell everyone that it is the time in this crisis that we started a platform where everyone was teaching pro bono. Honorable Justice Sikri started the first classes, then Justice Kurian Joseph taught, Justice Anand Pathak, who is a sitting judge of Madhya Pradesh High Court, taught 25 hours of CRPC. Mr. Siddharth Luthra taught bail, and several of senior members from the legal fraternity and law schools like Professor Kondaya from Aurangabad MNLU. He's the dean there. So he taught competition law. Professor Yogesh has been teaching for 5 months. I can see my friend Dr. Parikshit from Faculty of Law from Delhi University. He's been a constant support teaching for last 10 to 11 months now for constitution, competition law, IT law, and IPR. And we also got to host some of the legal luminaries like Mr. Kapil Sibal, Mr. Prashant Bhushan, Dr. Abhishek Singhvi, Mr. Salman Khurshid, also Mr. Michael Kirby, and even managing partner of Krishnamurti and Company, Ms. Nana Krishnamurti, and several other scholars from India and abroad. So thank you, everyone. This has been the journey which we couldn't have completed without the support from all senior members from bar bench and legal academia. And during the time when we started the pro bono teaching, it was, I'm very happy to tell you, at par with any standard law school. Being a law teacher, I ensured that with all help of my different colleagues. So we could teach, especially in the national lockdown, for 2 months, around 600 to 700 students completely free of cost with 6 days a week, and in a week there were around 30 classes of different law subjects with the proper structure curriculum that we try to follow by virtue of our own experience of teaching in law schools. And then we started gradually in October Judicial Preparation Advisory Center, which was also launched by Mr. P.K. Malhotra and Mr. Suman Jyoti Khaitan, Mr. Amit Vashisht, who is a PF commissioner, and all other friends. So this has been the journey, and now in all these last 10 to 11 months, most of the professors, faculty, colleagues who have been teaching have been the women law teachers, and we thought to organize this program to devote this program to honor all women law teachers, and that's what I thought as a law teacher I could do for my female law teacher colleagues, to honor them and to also host this program. So this has been the journey, my dear friends, and I now request Sukanya to brief you about the program and then take over. Thank you, Sukanya.
Thank you so much, sir. A very good evening and a warm welcome to all the distinguished panelists and our respected participants to this panel discussion on women law teachers this evening. Today, on the occasion of International Women's Day, we all are aware of various programs conducted to celebrate this day in every nook and corner. And I would like to highlight the fact here that this panel discussion is a very special one, as it has virtually connected so many women law teachers teaching in various parts of the country in a single platform today. For giving all of us this opportunity, the whole credit goes to the founder and director of VLS and JPAC, Dr. Nachiketa Mittal. We all thank you, sir. We all know to practice what we preach is the most difficult task today. Back in our institutions, we as law teachers keep on emphasizing on the concepts of rights and duties in all our respective subjects that we teach. But when it comes to our own rights at times, or most of the times, we do fail miserably. And such concerns can raise from equal opportunities in matters of appointments, access to research grants, access to research projects, access to conference travel grants, access to internal complaints committees, access to timely promotions, access to administrative positions, and therefore there are various challenges that we keep on facing vis-a-vis the male law teachers claiming equal access to employment, research, and promotion related opportunities. So today is an opportunity to discuss and participate on all these various issues that we keep on facing each and every day. For this, we have with us on the panel today distinguished women law professors today, and the first speaker that we have with us today is Dr. Nishtha Jaswal, Professor of Law and Vice-Chancellor, HPNLU. Dr. Jaswal will be delivering the keynote address, and we welcome you, ma'am. Secondly, we have with us Dr. K. Ratnavali, Professor of Law Center 1, Faculty of Law, University of Delhi, for her special address. We also welcome you, ma'am. We have with us Dr. Sujata Patil, Principal, School of Business and Law, Navrachna University, for the special address. We welcome you, ma'am. And we also have with us Dr. Danik Sia, Professor of Law, Miami-Dade College, USA, and a 3 times Fulbright Scholar to India, for the keynote address. We welcome you. We also have with us Dr. Purvi Pokhriyal, Professor of Law and Director, Institute of Law, Nirma University, Ahmedabad. We welcome you, ma'am, and over to you for your introductory remarks, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Sukanya, and thank you, Professor Nachiketa Mittal. At the outset, wishing you all a very happy Women's Day. I must compliment Professor Mittal to take this initiative. I always feel very special when the Women's Day celebration is being organized by some male colleague. That is a special celebration. This is what we really want. We have been observing that Women's Day celebration, wherein all women get together, we discuss our issues, we share our concerns, and then we just depart. But it's a special moment when this kind of a celebration is being organized and being thought through. So special compliments to a great colleague, Professor Nachiketa Mittal, respected Professor Nishtha Jaswal, Professor Ratnapalli, and Professor Danik Shah, Professor Sujata Patil, and all the great law teachers over here for this panel discussion. Friends, I always feel that we have completed around 110 years of this celebration. Somewhere it started somewhere around 1908 or 10. And still we are talking about gender parity, gender equality, discriminatory practices. So we need to thought through what we have achieved in this 110 years. And this year's theme that is being given by the UN for Choose to Challenge. Have we been challenging enough in the academia or in the profession? And I'm restricting my opening remarks with reference to the law profession. So, have we been challenging enough in this area? I think if we talk about India, it's almost 72 years we do not have a lady chief justice. And even in US, they got the first judge in the Supreme Court after 100 years almost. Even in this year, 72 years of our republic, we don't have an attorney general who is a female. We don't have a solicitor general who is a female. Even today, we don't have a female member in the collegium. If you look at the statistics of the senior counsel in the Supreme Court of India, there are only 17 female out of 483. And the similar kind of a situation that we find in every parts of in every high court as well when it comes to the senior advocate status. So where are the women? What are the issues with the women? Are we being challenging the status quo enough in order to conquer the equal parity? Because 110 years every year we are celebrating this day, but is it one day? And that's the reason that I someone told me in the morning that it's not महिलाओं का दिन है, महिलाएं है इसलिए दिन होता है. There's a very nice statement which I got in the morning wishing the Women's Day, that we exist because of you. It's every day is your day. So I always feel that do we lack that skill? Do we lack that capabilities and competency? Do we lack that confidence? Do we lack that support? What do we lack? We always, we always being told that women always have a sixth sense. They sense something much bigger and much greater than their counterpart. So, and we are in the country wherein we are being always celebrated, we are being worshipped. So, this is a right kind of area that Professor Mittal has thought through, the theme of the seminar, that what are the issues where the women are facing? Why still we feel that we are being discriminated? When the day would come wherein, we would be celebrating that, we haven't heard anyone saying that my father is a homemaker and my mom is working in this field. We always, we take an interview of the students, and we generally ask the family background. They always say, mom is a homemaker, father is so-and-so. I'm looking forward for a situation. There is an 100% 180-degree change wherein we need to listen to that. My father is a homemaker and my mother is so-and-so profession. So with these, so we have long to go, we have long to march. We have achieved enough in these 110 years, but that is not adequate enough to conquer the half of the world, because women consist of 50% of the world population, and still in so many areas we have been lacking greatly. So in that context, I invite Professor Nishtha Jaswal for a keynote address, and then we'll continue. Let there be a discourse and let there be an open discussions during the entire session, so the session becomes more lively. We all are very eager to listen to Professor Nishtha Jaswal for her keynote address. Over to Madam.
Thank you, Professor Purvi. At the very outset, I'm really thankful to Nachiketa. He remembered me, invited me, and when he introduced him to me, I couldn't say no. All the fellow participants, speakers, it's not me. I would like to listen to everybody, and very rightly Purvi ji said that we'll have a good discussion over it. We need to have a good discussion over it. The first observation I would like to make, I don't feel good when somebody says Happy Women's Day. Now, every day is my day. And neither a home nor a society, no system can function if we withdraw the character of women. Even though a lot of discussion is taking place, why we attach relationship or such roles of a mother, sister, daughter to a woman, why we don't talk about woman as a person. I do agree to the extent that woman is a person. We are human beings, equal, men or women. In fact, women contain men, female contains male. But I love to attach to the sacred relationship because that makes us strong. And that is why we can say that we are born strong. We are born empowered. We are born leaders. Why? Who else can give birth to life? It's me, it's we the women. We are the most powerful. So I don't want to add saying female judge, female prime minister, female president, female so, female so. I said, why should we talk about it? We are neither superior nor inferior. God has made us equal. We don't want to boast even if we are superior. So we are all equal. And in fact, whether we talk about Universal Declaration of Human Rights or the constitutions of different countries, especially I would like to talk about Indian Constitution, the Sanctum Sanctorum, equality principle, general principle of equality refers to person. And when we refer to most cherished gem of fundamental rights, right to life, it refers to person. Person includes women. And why we talk about women rights? Once we try to recognize human rights, I would like to quote Mahatma Gandhi when he said, woman is the champion of man, gifted with equal mental capacity. Still today we are going to talk about the equal opportunities. I am also reminded of Swami Vivekananda when he said to educate your women first and leave them to themselves. They will tell you what reforms are necessary. We very often say, Yatra naryastu pujyante ramante tatra devta, that where the females are worshipped, there reside gods. But I want to go beyond this. Now I said, I don't want to talk about superiority or inferiority, but I want to mention a Sanskrit shloka. It says, Dash putra sama kanya, Dash putrat pravardhyat, Yat phalam labte, Martyas tat labhyam kanyai ekaya, which means our daughter is equal to 10 sons. Whatever phala means good results, merit, a person attains by giving birth to or upbringing of a son, 10 sons. The same good results can be attained by begetting a single daughter alone. Now we are talking about equality of opportunities. Day is not far off when men will have men's day and they'll be talking about this equality. Why the problem arises? What needs to be discussed? If we turn back the pages of history, we find reference to talented, intellectual women throughout the world. And we talk about beauty with brains. But we have to find out where lies the problem. I just go to the time when we were children. In every society, there was different treatment given to the daughters. Just imagine, small daughter coming from the school, young daughter coming from the college or university, and mother says, daughter, just come and help me to cook food, to serve food, to clean dishes, to clean the house. Why? Why a mother doesn't invite a son to do all household chores? Now, if this image has been created and today we have to talk about equal opportunities, who is at fault? I don't find fault in any male member of the society. I find fault in myself. I am responsible for all this discussion. Now, as we grow up, I am as meritorious as my sibling brother. But my parents think she has to be married off. Lot of expenditure will take place. It's better if we send the son for professional education, medical college, engineering college. Let her take the simple possible subjects, history, political science, do some post-graduation and get married. I insist. I means we the women. Symbolic. I insist. I want to study. I study. Now here, taking a pause, I can make a mention that I belong to a very broad-minded family. My maternal aunt in 1930s, at the age of 13, delivered a public lecture on a public platform against Parda system. You can imagine. And I never found any difference of treatment with my brother. I have only one brother. But I can share with you, after doing my graduation, my teachers, my parents, they thought I'll be doing post-graduation in some subject and join teaching. I said, no, I want to join law course. They didn't object, but I know they were worried. How I could make out that they were worried? Every day after I submitted my form in the law department, Punjab University, for taking admission, every day my father used to inquire, how many applications from girls are there? Because a previous year there were only 3 girls. And it was doubtful whether I could have been only girl in the law department. But luck favored me. There were 21 female students. But see, even though no opposition, but fear in the mind. All right. Now, then when we want to join some professional course, we want to go to litigation, I want to appear in competition, in most of the families, this is not accepted. Even if accepted, now experience says, then if you're unable to clear in 1 or 2 attempts, it's fine. Otherwise, parents will say, no, it's fine. You join some other thing and get married, get settled. Then you may do anything after getting married. If the daughter is not able to do as per her desires with her parents, how can you think of getting it done when you go to a new environment? Even though times have changed, but times have not changed for everybody. Times have changed for those who can be counted on fingers only. And then, all right, we are able to join good profession. I also joined Punjab University after completing my post-graduation. I was pursuing PhD then. Fortunately, at that time, no such thing was like this, that she's a girl, so she will have this excuse or that excuse. Now, there is a gap of about 40 years. And today I can talk about that when we sit in the selection committees. Now, I'm talking about equality of opportunity. Then what is said? It's better you take maximum male employees. That will help you. If you take female, we don't know when she will go on maternity leave. We don't know when her child will fall sick and she'll go proceed on leave. Or they're scary that someday she'll file a complaint of sexual harassment. Better to avoid. Now, we are talking about equality of opportunities. See, double-edged weapon. On the one hand, we suffered when we left the protective shield of our protective environment, that is home. And we suffered a number of accounts, discrimination. Now, as law students, we know how many cases have been decided by the Supreme Court where discrimination was in the service conditions only. If I refer to Air India versus Nargesh Mirza or Mutamma's case or Mackinac-Mackenzie's case, so many situations are there. Forgetting how many years it took for Babita Punia's or this Natarajan's Permanent Commission in Army and Navy. Now this shows how much we had to struggle for attaining equality. Now, even at that situation, now we are Just imagine why it happens. We suffered, we were harassed, and now just because handful of us, I'm sorry to admit, handful of us are misusing the protective rights as weapons against, I don't know what kind of vendetta they want to take, which should not be there. And because of that, even Supreme Court went to the extent of using the term legal terrorism when the issue was in Sushil Kumar Sharma in 2005 of misusing dowry laws. And we have the living examples that how the Anti-Sex Harassment Law or Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act or dowry laws or other laws, these have been misused. It is not so. But who suffers ultimately? Who is sacrificed at the altar of equality? We, the women, even though I said we are superior, we are equals. And this is my personal experience, because when I came to the senior positions, became member of different committees of the university, I had to raise my voice to say what I want to assert my point, because everywhere it was just male dominated. And I can share with you, I don't mind sharing. Both of us, my husband and myself, we are in the same profession. We were together in the law department. And whenever there was a question of making choice, then my husband was preferred, saying she has equal merit, but we can't take both of them. That means my identity was merged with my husband. That is why whenever such situation is before me and somebody says, no, in this selection committee, we can't take both of them. I say, no, they have different identities. She is not Mrs. So-and-so. She has her own merit. But this is the problem, practical problem which we face. And this is my personal experience again, that even after becoming a Vice-Chancellor, after few months, my teachers came and told, when I was very firm, that we used to think what a female Vice-Chancellor will do. And even while dealing with the government officials, I had to struggle a lot. And when I kept on raising my voice and negative voices were suppressed and a particular person admitted, I used to think what a female can do. And madam, this was only male chauvinism. Just imagine. Now, and we are talking about equality. Now, equality, but here a note of warning, note of caution, that we have to earn equality. We have to earn our autonomy and dignity. I would like to, now this is very important, and I would like to quote a Sanskrit shloka. It says, Dakshinyam virupamapi swayam bhushayati, surupamapi adakshinyam dushayati, which means civility adds grace even to an ugly woman, while the essence of it takes away the grace of even a pretty woman. So we have to be modest. We have to preserve our dignity. And for preserving our dignity, for enjoying our equality, we should not violate others' dignity and others' rights. This is very, very important. I'll just conclude. I can share with you, I'm a poet by heart. I'll just present before you my verse about women. I know we have a global friend, so I'll translate it into English. मैं ज़मी हूँ, मेरी कोख से बढ़कर कोई खान नहीं. मैं ज़मी हूँ, मेरी कोख से बढ़कर कोई खान नहीं. मेरी ही परवरिश है, मेरी ही परवरिश है, जो इंसान है, हैवान नहीं. I'm Mother Earth. My womb is more fertile than any mine. It is my bringing up that human prosper and not devils decline. मेरे आंचल के मुकाबले कोई आसमान नहीं. मेरे आंचल के मुकाबले कोई आसमान नहीं. आंचल में जो समेटा तो क्षितिज का अरमान नहीं. No sky can match my bosom. Shrinking in my lap and horizon lacks its charm. मेरे दूध के बिना बचपन होता जवान नहीं, मेरे दूध के बिना बचपन होता जवान नहीं, मेरी शिक्षा से बढ़कर कोई ज्ञान नहीं. Without my feet, no childhood enters the youth. Without my teachings, no one gets knowledge. शीश जो उठाऊं पर्वत की चोटी इसके समान नहीं. शीश जो उठाऊं पर्वत की चोटी इसके समान नहीं. हाथ जो उठाऊं आशीष को इससे बड़ा वरदान नहीं. When I raise my head high, peak of the mountain is much less. No boon can equate when I raise my hand to bless. मेरी भावनाओं में समुद्र का तूफान नहीं, मेरी भावनाओं में समुद्र का तूफान नहीं. गंगा सी पावन बहती है मगर बेजान नहीं, गंगा सी पावन बहती है मगर बेजान नहीं. My emotions are not like storm in the sea. These flow like sacred Ganges. These have life which no one may have. ए बंदे मुझे कोई खिलौना जान नहीं. ए बंदे मुझे कोई खिलौना जान नहीं. मैं सांसों का अविरल चक्र हूं, मौत का सामान नहीं. ओ मैन, don't treat me as a toy to play with. I am a continuous cycle of breaths and not a weapon to cause death. किसी रावण या दुर्योधन को शत्रु जान नहीं, किसी रावण या दुर्योधन को शत्रु जान नहीं. जब राम और युधिष्ठिर ने किया मेरा मान नहीं. I don't consider any villain as my enemy when the angels did not honor my dignity. मेरी सिसकियों सा कोई सुरताल नहीं, मेरी सिसकियों सा कोई सुरताल नहीं. कोई झरना मेरे आंसुओं सा बिहार नहीं. The rhythm of my sobs has no match. The suffering behind my tears, no waterfall can match. And finally I pray, ए रब मैं नारी हूं, ए रब मैं नारी हूं, रिश्ते गूंथूं तो निलय है. ए रब मैं नारी हूं, रिश्ते गूंथूं तो निलय है. रिश्तों की लाज जो टूटी तो प्रलय है. Oh God, I am a woman. It becomes a home when I tat the relations with the rain. When relations are shamed, it is the doomsday. Thank you. God bless all of us.
What a wonderful session, ma'am. It was indeed great to listen to you, and your poet was really heart-touching. Thank you so much. And so, Kanya, should we invite Professor Danikshya now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Hello, Danikshya. How are you? Welcome to this session. We met long back, if you remember, at Gage conference. Yeah.
In Mexico.
Yeah. So we are so eager to listen to you. So I invite Professor Danikshya for her keynote address.
Good morning, everybody. I want to thank you. First, let me start by thanking Dr. Nachiketa Mittal, who has visited Miami-Dade College, and I've had the opportunity to participate with him on several panels, and Dr. Purvi, who I met in Gage in Mexico in 2018. I look forward to visiting your university sometime on one of my upcoming trips to India. And Dr. Jaswal for giving a fantastic overview about equal opportunities for women, and the challenges, some of the unique challenges that women face. And that poem was absolutely lovely. So thank you for allowing me to join you here today. I'm joining you from Miami. It's a beautiful day, so buenos dias. So I will begin by sharing a few words. Let me try to share my presentation. I have a short presentation. I am not, I don't really use Microsoft Teams, so I am just trying to, I got it up earlier. I'm trying to.
What you need to do is start your presentation, and then you go to the screen share from Microsoft Teams.
Okay.
And you see the screen sharing directly after presentation. So you need to open the presentation first.
Okay.
And then this option from Microsoft Teams.
Okay, so I just opened it. Okay, so I opened it. It's in front of me, but I don't know. Just give me a moment. I had it up earlier, obviously, before we started. It's not in Microsoft Teams. It's outside of Teams. That's not an issue, right?
That's not an issue.
Hmm.
Do you want me to run for you?
Yeah.
I can try to upload, and you can just tell me to change the slide, and then we can play it like that. Will that work?
Yeah. Could you try that?
Yeah. Give me 1 moment.
I always like to have a backup plan just in case. Let's see why I can't. Desktop window, application window. Is it there, Nachi? No.
Not yet. Give me 1 second. I'm also trying it from mine. Let me just open it. Will this work? Can you see it now?
Yes. That works. Thank you.
You can tell me. I'll change the slide for you.
Okay, and I apologize to everybody. All of these platforms are so different, and this is not the one I use on a day-to-day basis. So I apologize for that. Well, I'm happy to have the opportunity to address you briefly today on International Women's Day. I am Professor Cuevas. I teach at the Law Center at Miami-Dade College. And so, Nachi, could you change for me?
Yes.
I want to share the agenda. So the agenda today is I'm going to talk briefly about my background, also speak about some of the challenges for women in academia, and also give you some tips on how to navigate academia as a woman. Next slide. So let me share a little bit about my background. I put a picture here of Justice Sonia Sotomayor. She is the first Latina female justice on the United States Supreme Court. And she happens to be Puerto Rican like I am. I was born in Puerto Rico, and Spanish is my native language. And when I went to law school, actually, there were not that many, we were not yet at 51% in academic environment for women. We were climbing that mountain when I went to law school. So there was a gender disparity when I went to law school, but in addition to that gender disparity in America, there was a disparity on minorities attending law school. I, because I am Puerto Rican, would be considered a minority in America. And so there were two strikes against me, so to speak, being a female and then being a Latina in law school. There were actually a very small number of us in law school. I think in my incoming law school class, they admitted 300 law students, and there were maybe 8 Latinos. I was one of the 8 who had earned a seat in law school, and there were many challenges From my classmates who did not like the thought of a minority occupying a seat in law school. And so these were some of the challenges of being a woman and being a Latina, speaking Spanish. In law school, oftentimes I would face comments from colleagues, like classmates. And then also, frankly, the professors in my law school were mostly Anglo-Saxon. There was maybe one, maybe three minority professors in law school, and none of them were Latino. So there was nobody that I had to look up to who I knew shared my ethnic background, my native tongue, who understood some of the unique challenges that I was facing entering law school, representing not only the gender bias, but also the bias from being a minority. Now, things are better now, but they were not that good when I went to law school. But I managed, we all managed, and we graduated. And when I graduated from law school, I became a practicing attorney. It's quite common in America that law professors have practiced law for many years before we teach law. And I am the prototype of that. So I practiced family law for many years. And then I also did death penalty mitigation specialty work as well. And for many years, I have worked on access to justice issues like Dr. Purvi, which is why we met in Mexico a few years back. But I recall as a young attorney, when I was handling cases, one of the first complicated family law cases that I had involved domestic violence. It involved custody issues and visitation issues. It was rather complicated. And I was preparing for trial, and my adversary was an Anglo-Saxon middle-aged man. And he went to my supervising attorney and told her, I don't want Denixia on that case. I want a man to be my adversary. So, you know, that was my first introduction as a female attorney. And my boss had some choice words with him. My supervising attorney, who was a very experienced female attorney, had some choice words for him. And I learned early on that I had to work incredibly hard to prove that I was a good attorney and that I could litigate just as well as any other man. And then on top of that, I was a Latina young attorney, which again was facing discrimination. In fact, even as a young attorney, people would make comments to me about being a Latina, and especially if I spoke my native tongue. So it was rather challenging, but I learned early on to work very, very hard and be very prepared, almost twice as hard, because I had to earn my, almost demonstrate that I could do it as a woman, and I could do it as a Latina woman. And the other issue that some professors and women in academia face are issues of sexual harassment. And I, as a young attorney, faced that myself. When I was a law clerk for a judge, I walked into the courtroom and one of the male attorneys made a comment about actually made a comment about my legs in front of a crowded courtroom. And I was so humiliated and embarrassed. I was a very young attorney at the time. And my judge went on the record and really let him have it and reported it to the New Jersey bar. So women are not immune to issues of sexual harassment. And that is something that you have to be mindful of, that you may have to navigate some of those issues. So I'll move on to the next slide, Nachi. Now, in terms of academics in America, just brief statistics, 31% of faculty in America are women. And that's actually only been a 5% increase over the last 75 years. It's not that different. I put this picture here of Justice Ginsburg. She was a trailblazer. She became a female, she was a female law student when there were like hardly any women in law school. And then she became a law professor. She actually taught at my alma mater, Rutgers Law School. And then she ultimately went on the bench. And this is one of the quotes that I really love of Justice Ginsburg, who sadly passed away a few months ago. But what a legendary, trailblazing female she was, and how much she led the effort for women in America in academia. She says, when I'm sometimes asked where there will be enough women on the Supreme Court, I say when there are 9, and people are shocked. But there'd be 9 men and nobody's even raised. So I want to thank Justice Ginsburg for paving the way for many of us. Next slide. In terms of transition to academia, I've been in academia now for about 25 years, and there were some transitions to academia, but even young challenges, challenges as a young female professor. And some of those challenges were transitioning to academia where the demands are very different from the practice of law. And one of the things that I highly recommend is that everyone look for a mentor and find someone who's an experienced academic who can mentor you, male or female. In fact, when I started in academia 25 years ago, my main mentors, I had 3 mentors, and 2 of them were men. And they were incredible mentors. To this day, they're still at the college. And whenever I face any issues, I still go to those gentlemen and they give me great advice and share wisdom. And I also had many female mentors who helped me navigate the academic environment in terms of what I should do as a young professor, in terms of teaching, research, publication, and things of that nature. The other thing is that there are academic challenges and there are non-academic challenges. So academic challenges include, how do you navigate this workload of teaching, this pressure to engage in research and in publications. And then you add to that the mix that as a young professor, you yourself may be raising a family. So you may have family responsibilities to manage at the same time. And this can be rather challenging. I recall when my daughter was young, I was very fortunate because Latin families are very similar to Indian families. Family is the nucleus, it's the center of everything. At that time, my mother was alive and my parents took care of our daughter while we worked. So the daycare was provided by her grandparents and fresh Puerto Rican food and everything, She had great daycare while we were working when she was very young until she went to school, but they would pick her up from school. So they really provided a lot of the help that I needed at that time. And then I also had a circle, and this is one of the things I want to mention. You have to build a community of family, which is easier in India than here, a community of friends and colleagues who are all going to help you managing some of this work-life balance, like maybe picking up your child from school because you have to work late, maybe cooking a meal for you because you had to work late and you didn't have time to cook. And even though I am in America, there's still an inequality of household distribution in the household. Still in America, the women are the ones that do most of the cooking and most of the household chores. And in this pandemic, what has been highlighted is the inequality of the distribution of labor at home, right? Because we take on so much of that responsibility, even in the United States, especially in Latin households, because it tends to be very traditional, very male-driven. There's a lot of male chauvinism. Now, that was not the case with me at home, per se. There was no male chauvinism, but that's very common in my culture. It was just that women fall into more the traditional roles of the cooking, taking care of the home, and taking care of the children, while you're still managing how do you navigate academia and promotions and getting tenure, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you really need a community around you to be able to do that. Next slide. I just have 2 more. All right, so just some tips. Create a network of peers, fellow colleagues within your institution and outside of your institution. So I'm very fortunate that I have peers all over the world, many in India, because India is my second home. I've done 3 Fulbrights to India. But many in Latin America, Europe, literally everywhere, I have peer mentors that I can call and turn to when I'm facing a particular issue or question, or I need assistance with any matter. So create a network of peers. Find mentors that can help you navigate some of these uncharted waters, even just serve as a sounding board, particularly when you're a young professor and you're overburdened and overwhelmed. Expand your professional opportunities. I know that there are many grants in India, because I have had colleagues there that have taken advantage of that. So I encourage you to look for those grants. One of them is the Fulbright program that allows Indian professors to apply to become a Fulbright scholar in America. So I encourage you to go on the website for the United States India Educational Foundation and look at those opportunities. In America, there are many leadership programs for women in academia that will enable women to develop leadership skills, to empower them, to help facilitate their process to become a full professor, tenured professor. So I encourage you to look for the same in India. Have a support group of your family, your friends. So many times my friends help me out. And whether it was taking my daughter to the park because I had to work, being transportation to and from school. If I work in downtown Miami, and my daughter would get out early, and if when my parents passed away, I didn't have anybody to help me with that. I had a community of friends and other mothers that really helped me navigate some of these issues that I otherwise would not have been able to do as a professor. So make sure to have a community of family and friends. And the one thing that I want to mention, it's so important, women, we have to help each other, because the challenges that we face are unique for different reasons, and we have to stick together. One of the things that has always troubled me is when women are not supportive of one another, when women think that the way to achieve equality is to be the stereotype of a man, a difficult man who takes power and control and may infringe upon the rights of others. This is the antithesis of what we should be doing as women. We need to build each other up. We need to nurture our strengths. We need to nurture our abilities. We need to nurture our talent. Bring another woman up to where you are. She's going to be the next generation of a professor. She's going to be the next generation of an advocate. And in that way, we can continue paying this forward if we heed this call to bring each other up, not take each other down. And in the last slide, I just want to share some closing thoughts, Dr. Mittal. Don't be afraid to ask for help, because life can get overwhelming and challenging, personally, professionally, with the demands that we face at home and at work. Don't be afraid to ask for help, build a community, be creative, seek opportunities that you never thought you'd be interested in engaging before. There's so many universities in India. So maybe seek an opportunity where you collaborate with a colleague from another institution on a project and have your students work together. You can do that now remotely, and post-pandemic, we're going to continue doing work remotely. I encourage you to collaborate with colleagues from outside of your institution. That can be incredibly enriching and give you opportunities that you never expected to have before. Of course, engage in teaching, research, and publishing opportunities. And last but not least, engage in self-love. And I just want to emphasize that. We have to take care of ourselves, because women, we tend to be the maternal ones. We tend to be nurturing. We tend to take care of everyone, but we don't take care of ourselves. And that is a big mistake. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to rest, take care of eating well, exercise, whether it's yoga, meditation, running, exercise, walking, even if you just walk outside and enjoy the beauty of Mother Nature. Have times where you're with your girlfriends, where you're spending time with your friends and female colleagues, and you're just resting, relaxing, laughing. Take care of your spirit and your physical well-being and your health. so that you can take care of others. And in doing so, you will be holistic and you will be successful in navigating these waters professionally, academically, and on a personal level. Thank you, Dr. Mitchell, for having me today. And I think with that, I've exhausted my time.
Thank you, Danikse. Thanks a lot. I mean, I know it's early morning for you, 8 a.m. You could still make it. Thank you. I know you have a very long day. So have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Danikshya. So I think we will take all the questions after all the speeches, Professor Mittal.
Right, ma'am, we can do that.
Yeah. Okay. So now I invite Professor Ratnabali.
I think I need to unmute. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Mittal, for inviting me to participate in this very interesting and invigorating discussion. Respected panelists and dear law teachers, I would say our fraternity of law teachers who have joined this particular discussion today. It's indeed a pleasure to be part of this panel discussion, and I would like to wish, first of all, each one of you a very happy Women's Day, and to celebrate, I urge you all to celebrate the feminine energy in each one of us. It's not just we women who have the feminine energy, but every man also has that energy. And I would like to, emphasize on this by saying that in our Indian culture, we talk about Shiv and Shakti as one. So that's how I would take it to be, that how equal we feel between men and women in terms of our culture, and we need to build upon that. So Dr. Mittal told me to, speak about what equal opportunity experience in law teaching means to me. So I was quite, perturbed as to what exactly he wants me to say, because when we talk about equal opportunity, we already know, Article 15, 16 and things like that of the Constitution. But then he also says equal opportunity experience. Then I thought, what would experience mean? And experience means something, which one has impression about, an incident which one, has impression in his or her mind. So I was trying to recall what kind of equal opportunity, incidents I have come across, whereby, I have collected as a memory in my, as an experience in my living existence. So when I do that, I have to contextualize, because experience, as I said, is a subjective thing. So when I try to contextualize, then I need to tell that who I am and how I have been brought up. So I would like to refer to Professor Jaswal when she said that one daughter is equal to 10 sons, and exactly, I'm the only child of my parents. I don't have any brother or sister, but my parents have, and I belong to Manipur, which is northeast part of the country, quite far away from where I am in right now. So they brought me up in terms of responsibility just like a son, but definitely by telling me in every step the vulnerabilities of being a woman. This is what my mother used to say. You are a girl, so you have to take care of this 1, 2, 3, 4. But at the same time, they gave me equal opportunity to learn, to shoulder every kind of responsibility that a son would take. And I feel proud to say that when I was in my second year of LLB, I took my mom from Delhi to Chennai, a new city, in train, and got her medical treatment done there, brought her back, just like a son would do. I never felt that, I'm a daughter or I'm a girl, and I never felt, weak or something like that. And I'm really, really happy to share with you that in terms of the institution that I belong to, that is the University of Delhi, I never felt any discriminatory kind of situation till now, I would say, because maybe because I'm in the because I just got promoted, last month as a professor. So I would see that in terms of the level of, employees who are in the lower and middle rank, I don't see kind of discrimination. It's like if you work, if you are competent, then you proceed further. So even as a assistant professor, I was appointed as Deputy Dean Legal Affairs to advise the university, the Vice Chancellor, and higher authorities. So in spite of just being an assistant professor, and I was just replacing one professor, Professor Kamala Shankaran, when she had to leave that office. So in terms of getting equal opportunity, I never felt that being a woman, I was discriminated. But let me tell you, all the rules that are made for promotion or for allotment of workload or timings of the class, every woman is treated just like a man. There is no benefit or privilege being enjoyed by being a woman, so you are treated just equally. But if I try to look at important positions in the university in terms of administrative positions, we haven't had a woman vice chancellor as of today in Delhi University, even though I don't think that maybe these important positions have some other factors that come into the picture. I will not say that it's because of being, I don't know, too much patriarchal. I won't say that. But at the same time, some facts do, speak for themselves. So I do not want to touch that part of the story, but come to my experience as a law teacher. See, every woman who starts teaching law starts at an age where she is also entering into the family, way. Say she's just getting married or already married or having a small child or about to have a small child. So it's too many things that young law teachers are handling when they join the profession. So I myself, even though I joined with other colleagues, male, female, I find that for first initial 5 years, I could not do my PhD because I didn't get time. I got married, then I had a son. And before having the son, I was already teaching. So, handling new house, new family, child, which is a new responsibility. And then I was staying in South Delhi, and the institution is in North Delhi. I had to drive for at least an hour every day up and down. 2 hours I used to invest minimum. So there was no energy left thereafter to do research. Not even think about enrolling for PhD. So my son was like a PhD in the first 5 years. Now, if I try to compare myself with a colleague who, with a colleague who got appointed at the same time, they were able to complete their PhD by the time I had, 5 years was over. So they were able to get the promotion within, 4 years instead of me. I had to complete my first stage of promotion in 5 years. So if you see, the environment as such does not discriminate you, but the kind of roles that women have in their hands, because she has to handle work and she has to handle home also. And both these, both these, I would say, spaces demand the same amount of responsibility and time, because the prime responsibility of nurturing a child, rearing a child is a mother. So let me also share with you that I tried, after having my baby, I had to learn how to drive a car just because I have to bring my helper and my kid along with me when I come for class. So I used to feed the child in between, and then we used to come back together. So women has to work out ways, find ways in order to, meet the challenges that she faces in her profession. So it's not that the world will come to you and say, I'm going to help you out. No, because you have to find ways yourself. So whether it's research, even in research also, like say, for example, in the pandemic, during the lockdown, I wrote a book, I co-authored a book on biological weapons, keep focusing on COVID-19. So there was no, support system at home. Everything from mopping and cooking, everything you have to do by yourself. But then what I find is that once that thing is over, till 2, 3 at night, 4 in the morning, one is working, because if you want to do, you have to work. So you have to burn your midnight oil. Without that, you're not going to come at par with any male colleagues. So therefore, what I like to focus or advise my young law women teachers is that it's not a cakewalk for all of us, because even if there is a support system at home, they would think that we are providing the support which is otherwise your prime responsibility. So it's like, it's not a sharing of or distribution of work. And in fact, I would agree with what Professor Danixia has said, that for women, even if you look at the household chores, you may say that, oh, both of us are working from home, but then the sharing or distribution is not at all equal. And then that might also, in case if you insist that it has to be equally shared, then it may not be create a very conducive atmosphere, whereby, because it should not create tension also. If you want to have a conducive atmosphere, it's that you should work, and then when you find everything is over, you sit down and do your work. So therefore, what I would like to comment is that if a lady teacher or is coming at par with a male teacher, she has put in more work and effort than a male colleague at the same position. And I think that each one of us would agree that this is because of the expectation that the society has from a woman. So either we have to, and if you don't live up to the expectation, then you say that you are not a caring mother, or you will say, or people will say that you are very ambitious. So being ambitious is not taken to be in the positive sense in the case of women. So if you say that a woman is ambitious, that means she would be ignoring her children or household priorities, or so this is what I find as a person who has gone through that particular stage. And in terms of say research grant, etc., I don't think that the University of Delhi does not have any such discrimination. Whoever is capable and whoever is interested in doing a project, I have not found any kind of discrimination in this area. Second thing, what I would like to emphasize also is that every institution wants work to be done. So if you have worked and if you have earned a place for yourself through hard work, then no matter whether you are a woman or you are a man, it doesn't matter. This is what I feel. So therefore, in order to earn, one has to put an extra effort, no doubt about that. But one thing which I also find is that there's always a saying that women are another, a woman is another woman's enemy. This is what I get to hear. And that women and women cannot work together. Or if there is a committee, let it not be lots of women, have some men, maybe 1 or 2 women. If it is a majority of women, they'll say that, you won't find a consensus. So there is a concept, I would say, misconception about women not being able to work together. I don't know how far people would agree with that, but I would also want to point out that women have the ability of multitasking, which many men do not have. So number 2 is that being a woman, and I have experienced this myself, when in a committee, when men and men are not able to agree on the same point, or there are difference of opinion, they are not ready to listen. But if the same point, if there is a logical thing, if a woman communicates, then men start listening. This is also one, I would say, positive thing which I have come across. So we should try to build upon our capabilities, the ability to convince, the ability to multitask, the ability to work hard, and the ability to, I would say, to balance one's, work and family, and also not just, work, and also our own balance the, I would say, I don't know how far we are able to do, but our time management. So I think time management, multitasking, these are things I think women may do better. But men also, there are men who are very, very systematic. I'm not saying that men are not, but we need to build upon what we are good at. And regarding the steps which, or the advice to give to the young law teachers, I find that Dr. Nishtha has covered every possible aspect of it. I would try to endorse her by saying that we need to have a physical and mental good health. And for that, obviously, you need to do yoga or meditation, whereby you are able to have that strength, mental and physical strength to carry, because you have to do that extra, effort. Number two, obviously find alternative support. If the family is not supporting, then you find alternative support from the society. Then only say, for example, I find for myself a cook. That's how I'm able to, kind of find time for myself. So if you are able to do it, please find alternative support if your family itself is not able to support much. And if you are able to, if you have the competency, please try to lead by your own example rather than following somebody. So people may not work, okay? If you are in a committee, please try to do more work than others are doing so that you lead by your example, okay? And yeah, obviously, I would like to say that your me time or that peer of bonding with your friends is very important to, I would say, it's like a whistle of a pressure cooker. Whatever pressure and stress you have, you can take that out, right? So bonding with peers or who are like-minded, spending time with them is very important. That's with that, I would like to end my presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Professor Ratnambali. It was great, hearing your inputs, and definitely there's so much to depend upon women, and we all are learning it in our own ways. So I request now Professor Sujata Patil to share her inputs, and then we will have everybody participating, all our participants, all women law teachers who have joined the program today will then be able to speak up. In between, Professor Purvi had to log out because of technical glitch. So by the time Professor Purvi will come back, I'll coordinate on her behalf. So over to you, Professor Patil.
Yes. Good evening. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Good evening, one and all present over here. First and the foremost, I just want to thank Professor Nachiket Mittal for giving me a wonderful opportunity to share this today's platform. Respected distinguished speakers of the today's event and all the participants, I mean all my teaching fraternity. By the way, first and the foremost, I would like to wish one and all a happy Women's Day. And this is a celebration, okay? And in this celebration, I congratulate Professor Mittal and his team for really selecting a very good theme for the today's discussion. And by the way, I have no choice, as right now Professor Ratnambali she shared. I think already Professor Nachiket has assigned me with a topic connecting to the theme of the today's discussion. My journey, my experience connecting to the theme. I think the promotion of law teachers from the junior to the senior level. In this connection, connecting to the promotion point of view and how to climb the ladder in an academia. Instead of sharing a general thing, I just want to share my journey, my experience, and how I come across and how I took a challenge as an opportunity. And that is how today, whatever the position may come, it may go, but basically we are all teachers. But in this long journey of my 15 years of my teaching journey, what I noticed and what kind of problems, the challenges that I come across. Honestly, I didn't come across pertaining to gender discrimination in my journey. There is one incident which I want to share. Of course, it can be a gender discrimination or it can be other way around, a kind of the bias or whatever it may be. Because when we are working in the private institutions, if you are working in the government, that is something different. As for the norms, the things will fall in line, and your promotions here, we know that how the things will take place. When it comes to the private organization, if you're working in a private sector, It's very, very challenging to climb the ladder from one level to the next level. I want to share my the one incident, and that it's going to be my advice or my motivational word for younger generation or young teachers over here. I started my journey in teaching profession in the year 2005 as a lecturer. I joined as a lecturer once I completed my LLM. I worked in one institution, the first institution, for a period of 2 years as a lecturer. And due to distance factor and all, I could not travel. You know that Bangalore, not only Bangalore, any metropolitan city, travel is a great challenge rather than what work we do. Then I just thought of applying to the near institution, which is near to my residential area. Then I just quit a job after having 2 years of experience as a lecturer. Then I just jumped to the one more institution, which was a very reputed institution. But I got an opportunity. There I applied for the next ladder, the next level, senior lecturer cadre. Finally, I started my journey over there. I was working, and after 2 years of spending my work in the second institution, wherein I come across the 1 or 2 new faculty, a male faculty joined to our department, just having 3 years of experience, just master's degree. They have not even cleared the net or the set or even the PhD, even they are not enrolled. Then they got an assistant professor cadre and they joined. Really, that created a frustration. Somewhat I got disappointed. On what criteria? And then I checked whether they qualified, because I was not net cleared. No. Then just 3 years of experience. Then I just immediately had a talk with my director. Sir, on what ground these people having a less experience than they have been appointed? Then he started justifying in one. No. We in our department we have only the female, 7 female faculty. We need a male faculty to handle the marketing, admission, internship. That is different. But go by a criteria. There is a criteria need to be taken into the consideration when it comes to appointing or promoting the faculty. Because they are ready to take the additional responsibility because they are the male faculty. That doesn't mean that one should get deprived. Then he said, you can apply now. You apply, you put forth your application, madam. Then I just waited for 1 year. Then I completed full-fledged 5 years of my teaching experience, including both the institution. Then I applied for assistant professor cadre from the senior level. When I put forth my application fair, I just waited for 10-15 days. Even strongly it was recommended by my director also. But there was no movement. Then I had a talk. Then I met HR people, HR department. I just went and I had a discussion. Then I said, why are you holding it? Then they said, no, madam, we cannot consider you as an assistant professor. It was shocking for me. On what ground? Tell me. When you people have appointed just 2 or 3 years of experience people, freshers as an assistant professor, on what ground you are denying, you justifying? No, that appointment happened last year. The policy is something different. Now we have changed the policy. I said, every year you're going to change the policy. On what basis that you people are taking this judgment? Then, no, now the new director, HR director has joined and all this, you know, that private management. And we all know that we are bound by the contract, and the private management, they have their own strategy or the way of taking the thing. Then I just had a word with the new director, HR director, and I just asked, tell me, what is the ground? And then again, he started same thing. Then I asked the one question, tell me, to get a next ladder, I want to take up the assistant professor position. What do you expect from my end? Then they made very clear, madam, you should clear net or set or enroll for the PhD. That is the day I took it as a challenge. I just stepped out. I didn't have any discussion. I took it as a challenge. And I made up my mind. Then the same year, I applied for NET. And also I applied for my PhD in Bangalore University and Chennai Ambedkar University. Unfortunately, I could not appear for the NET exam, but that year was a challenging. One hand, I was focusing for the preparation for the NET. On the other hand, I was also working for in which area I should carry my research. And it was a very, very challenging. And my husband started shouting at me one day, fine day, why are you doing all these things? Either you focus on NET or you apply for the PhD or give up everything. And take care. I had just a 4-year daughter. I could not focus on her growth, on her education, whatever it may be, a small baby. Then I said, no, I cannot. It is a challenge. And I have to prove myself. Then luckily, unfortunately, as I said, I could not appear for the net because of some emergency, but I got cleared my PhD process. And that is how I got my PhD registration, took it as a challenge or the problems or whatever it may be. Then I was able to come up. Immediately, whatever the promise made by the HR people, then I put forth my application for the assistant professor. Then again, they started the one more, again they delayed. Then what I did, see, when our journey in the teaching profession, when we find that it is getting stagnant, we should not sit idle. That is my humble request for all the junior faculty over here or my faculty colleagues. You need to find an alternative, you need to overcome, and you need to find the way. Then I made up my mind, now I need to quit this job from this institution. Now I need to take a job where my experience, is going to be considered. Then the last talk I want to have with the director, HR. Then I said, whether you accept or you're not going to accept, tell me. Already I started finding my job in some other institution, because in Bangalore at that time, 10 years back, I'm telling this story, where there are ample of law colleges, 30 to 35 law colleges, and we had a good opportunities. Then I said, either consider or not to consider. Then they said, madam, please give me a time for 1 week. Then I just waited for 1 week. I said, within 1 week, if I'm not going to get whatever it may be, acceptance or the rejection, if you reject, my paper will be ready. Consider it as a 3-month notice period. Now, within 1 week, I got a mail, and they considered, and I got promoted as an assistant. See, this is one how to climb a ladder. It's not an easy. Then that is the day I just decided, now I need to focus on my research, because I already enrolled. Then I focused the 5 years I dedicated. I thought of finishing within 3 years. I could not, because even doing PhD, my dear friends, it is not an easy task. And entire 5 years of my journey, I just did it, my PhD. Then again, I applied in the same institution for associate professor cadre. And fortunately, in the same year when I got my PhD, there is that one new institution. They have come up with the new law program, wherein they were opening for all principal, assistant, associate, professor level. Then I applied here where I was working, and also applied the one more institution for an associate. But when I was applying for the new organization, one of my friend, she said, no, you are having more than 10 years of experience with the PhD. Why are you applying for associate? Apply for the professor level. Then I said, experience is something different. Qualification is something, but whether as for the norm, as for the UGC norm, if I look at the API score, do I qualify for professor? No, I don't. I qualify only for the associate. Then I applied. Then here in the institution where I was working, it was just to keep going on. There was no response. Then anyway, I applied. I attended I completed 3 rounds of interview. I got selected. And the last round, when I had a talk with the secretary of that institution, then they said, congratulations, you got selected for associate. In addition to that, you need to take one more responsibility as a principal. Then I was shocked. I didn't apply for principal position. It is an administrative work, and I don't have an experience, and don't compel me to take this position. Then they said, no, we are there. You take up this challenge. You learn. You'll gain an experience, man. And I said, no, sorry, I cannot. See, when accepting a higher position is something different, but we need to think whether we are able to justify that position. I said, I cannot justify. Kindly don't compel me. Then they said, no, we have senior faculty directors who will help you initially. Don't worry. Then I said, if you people are compelling me to take, then I put a condition straight away to the organization, saying that if something goes wrong, you should not blame me at the initial stage. Of course, I try my level best, take the things in a systematic way, but if at all, then they said yes. And that is how my journey started. But one incident, what I shared right now, climbing the ladder from lecturer to the assistant, it was a very, very challenging. I hope you can see the 2 main faculty who joined, they were able to do better, and not a female. Really, that word itself, I took it as a challenge. And this is how, after joining as a principal in the 3rd institution, this is my 4th institution presently, where I'm working as a principal and associate professor. In the 3rd institute, it was a very fruitful journey, really, working environment, everything it was excellent. Due to personal reason, I have to quit the job, and I shifted to Vadodara. After shifting to Vadodara also, I'll tell you, my dear youngsters, see, if you have an experience, if you have a PhD, if you are competent enough, I think ocean of opportunities you'll have. After shifting here also, I got 4 calls from the different institution from Bangalore for the, again, principal position only, for the head of the. Then I said, sorry, I quit the job because of my personal reason. And now I'm not in Bangalore, I'm in Baroda. And this is how the journey started. So what I want to tell you, see, when you people plan to climbing the ladder of success, my advice, sincere advice to youngsters is climb the ladders step by step in the sense from lecturer, senior lecturer, assistant. Never ever adopt any short strategies or the short way of climbing the ladder. Or even though if you get an opportunity, think twice and take up the responsibility. That is one advice. And the other way around, this is my experience, what I shared, but other way around, what I noticed, even a couple of my friends who are working in different institutions, even there are faculty who started a journey with me and they've done their PhD, having 15, 16 years of experience. Still they are in the assistant professor cadre. You should see, the reason here is that we find 2 category of the people, it may be in corporate or in an academia. One is smart kind of working and one is a hard, the people who are working hard. But smart people, they know the strategy how to climb the ladder. But the hard-working people, a couple of times, they won't get. There are institutions, if they follow strictly norms and all, definitely they'll get recognition. I never say that. But there are institutions where, even though they work hard, but there is no recognition, their career gets stagnant. For such kind of faculties, my advice, sincere advice is, when your position, when your career gets stagnant, try to find out what are the factors, what are the drawbacks within you, means whether you are having a qualification, whether you are teaching, feedback of your teaching, your research accomplishment, your API score. One more thing I just want to suggest all the youngsters, try to see where you fall, your API score, whether you are matching with that. If everything is perfect, even then the management is not considering, then try to find how to overcome. Try to find a job in a new institution. Don't get stagnant, because we female, what happens, as I said, a couple of my friends, still they are assistant professor having 15 years of experience, PhD. They say, no, we cannot travel in Bangalore. We cannot move. Our first preference is our family, my kids, my husband. My husband is earning, why I should? So this is how the people who are not ready to take up the challenge in their life, they never come up. So my sincere advice is that once you get stagnated, your position, but see to it again and again, my advice is that your qualification is as per the norm. And now, as we all know, that keep changing, norms also keep changing, UGC norm, now the net and in our days that was not. But now net and the set exams, you qualify for the assistant professor position or else no. And next, to climb the ladder, see to it your research, your API score. Okay, where you fit into. And always when you are in this journey of academics, don't only focus the teaching. You need to balance everything. Your research, your teaching, your other services to the organization, being a member of different committee. All this matters a lot. This is how my journey started, and my advice to all. And one more thing, here in India, we go by, yes, that's the practice right now. I said experience, research, API score. These are all the factors as per the norm we take into the consideration. I hope a couple of you people were aware in Canada and in US university, they have the I think most of the people were knowing the concept called tenure task. Okay, it's nothing but called, you need to balance. One is your research, teaching first. The second parameter is the research, and the third is your services to your organization. Of course, teaching we do. And when it comes to the services, being a member of the different committee, rendering an additional services to the organization, of course we do. But when it comes to the second parameter, research, here, I was reading one article, how to climb the ladder in an academia. And a couple of professors from the university from America, London, they were sharing their views, and now they reached the professor. But when they were in the position of the assistant professor, they have this tenure track. Okay. The tenure task is nothing but called wherein they have been provided. I think when it is not applicable to, I hope, for lecturer and whatever adjunct professor. Adjunct professor, it is not applicable. It is from the level of assistant professor. When you are in the assistant professor position, okay, the period, the tenure within a 5 or 6 years, I hope, you are bound to do a research. A kind of the research is nothing but called your research paper get published in the peer reviewed in the reputed journal. In addition to that, you need to take up the funded research projects. These are all the parameters you need to comply within 5 or 6 years. Then after the completion of that period of 5 or 6, the review committee will review. And if you're meeting you have complied with the requirement, immediately you'll get promoted to the associate professor. If you're not complying with all these parameters, you'll be removed from the assistant professor. Even your job is not secured. You'll be removed from the position and someone competent person will take a place. This is how the practice. I just read in one the article. Okay. See, this is how, what I feel, these are all the best practices and couple of things we need to adopt. And in India, we are so liberal in taking the things or whatever it may be. And if you go by these strict parameters, what we notice in America or in Canada, and good things which we are also able to adopt here, it is best because it is going to have a very good impact, overall growth of the faculty. And in turn, it is going to have an impact on the teaching also. So with this, I can say that one thing I want to advise on this platform for all the young women who are here, be patient, because in this journey in judiciary, either it may be a practice, it may be a teaching, it may be whatever it may be, you should have a patience. Be confident, work hard. We understand being a woman, balancing all the angle, it is very, very challenging. It is very, very difficult. But we need to set a goal. We should have a target. Then and then only we can reach. With this, I thank the one and all for giving me the opportunity to share a few things. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Patil, for sharing your experience of different institutions, and this will certainly give different kind of inputs, and everyone will have a lot of experience sharing on their own, which I would really want now. I've been requesting all the participants to switch on their video if it is possible at your end. And so now the session, or the e-floor as we say, electronic floor, is open, and I would really want everyone to take benefit of the time and speak to the senior law professors who are there with us today. And if you have anything to add, if you have anything to say, please feel free, because at the end of the day, it's a platform, it's an event, it's a program which is for all of us collectively together. So Kanya, you can just probably ask, and somebody who would want to raise hand, since there's an option. Everyone, you can switch on your video and you will be able to unmute yourself as well. Let me just check. Even if you're not able to switch on the video, it's all right. Yeah, we will allow you time, like 25-30 seconds. That's why I was typing in the chat box earlier, so that we all can be prepared to ask anything or share our experience of any kind.
Sir, I think we have somebody.
Yeah. Yes, please go ahead.
Good evening, distinguished speaker, and thank you, Nachiketa. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Right, and it was very interesting to hear about all your experiences teaching in all universities. Myself, let me introduce myself. I am Ashwati, and I right now I'm doing research. I started during COVID pandemic time. I started my research, and I can completely relate with all your experiences. Right, because something which we are all part of the same movement, and I can actually understand the challenge of women face, because I've been in the teaching field for the last 5 years, right? and also managing research work. So I can relate to all the experiences which teachers have shared here, right? And also, what it's just an observation. It's you can say it's my thinking, right? So for prioritizing our roles can help us to decide how best we can manage our time. So that's the only observation people like all our distinguished speakers have told. So it's just an addition. That's all. Okay. Thank you for the opportunity again. Right. It's
Thank you, Ashwati.
thank
It's a pleasure to hear you. Let me tell everyone we were together in law school, Bangalore, years ago.
yes.
So
Yes.
it's a pleasure to hear you after several years, Ashwati.
True.
Right.
Same. Thank
Right.
you.
I'm co-teaching with several of your friends and batchmates. Yeah, Dikshita, please go ahead. Before you say something, I must introduce you as one of my proud students of NLU Odisha, who is now teaching. Go ahead, Dikshita.
Thank you so much, sir. First of all, I would ask everybody, I want to wish everyone a very happy International Women's Day. And it's a pleasure to be a part of this uh, this event today. And being a very young in this profession right now, I have learned a lot from Nachiketa sir. He was teaching us at NLU Orissa, and right now, recently, I have joined. It's been not even two. It's 1.5 years in this profession, and it was wonderful listening to all of you today. I have learned a lot, and all of your stories were so inspirational. And I hope I can just take this forward and will be able to guide my juniors as well. Thank you so much. There were some glitches. Because of that, I couldn't switch on my camera, but I would like to thank all of you and even sir, especially to have me here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dikshita. And I must tell everybody, being very young law teacher, she called me last week and with 1.5 year or 2 years of a teaching experience. So she has extended her support as a pro bono law teacher for the virtual law school. Thank you, Dikshita, for your
Thank you so
help
much,
and
sir.
support.
It's my pleasure, sir. Thank you so much.
Right. Yeah, please, anybody else? That's why I'm typing back to back so that anybody who wants to share. Sometimes they can be lag of few seconds, so we can consider that, and you may take time of few seconds lag. Okay, not a problem. So probably, we have some of our participants who may not be able to switch on the audio or the video, because we understand that these days in online platform, we all are, at least attending from different locations, and the background noise sometimes does not allow us. So some of them have just sent me the message that we cannot switch on even the audio because we're traveling. So we understand that. Thank you, friends. So now, Sukanya, I would request you to, to deliver the word of thanks, and if you have something to add, it will be great.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. I think I too agree with Dikshita when she mentioned that, being a young law faculty, the things that we have heard today, the stories that we have listened to, it has been really something which has been very, very inspiring for all of us, especially as a young law faculty. And with this, I would now like to proceed on for the vote of thanks. So as we come to the conclusion of this vibrant panel discussion that we had today, I would like to wholeheartedly thank our distinguished panelists, Dr. Nishtha Jaswal, Dr. K. Ratnavali, Dr. Sujata Patil, Dr. Danixia, and Dr. Purvi Pokhriyal for joining and sharing their practical experiences with us today. I would like to thank all the participants and my friends for joining today. This evening has been really an enriching and a beautiful learning experience for all of us. Last but not the least, I would like to sincerely thank Dr. Nachiketa, founder and director of Virtual Law School and JPAC, for giving us this wonderful opportunity this evening. Thank you to all of you again. Happy Women's Day and have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sukanya, for coordinating, on behalf of the Virtual Law School and JPAC, actually.
Thank you
And
for
thank you,
giving me this
Jaswal,
opportunity.
ma'am, I requested you and you could take
and
time. I know since morning you're busy today.
yeah.
I heard about several of your, lectures lined up since morning 10 o'clock. So thank you, Professor Ratnabali. I could speak to you at length, today earlier in the afternoon. And Danixia, I mean, I always bother you, and it's always a morning time for you, and you somehow make it possible for me. So that's always a pleasure hearing you. Thank you, Sujata ma'am and Purvi ma'am. I met Purvi ma'am in her office day before yesterday also. We were discussing quite a few things. So I'll again convey message to ma'am since she cannot re-log in. Thank you, everyone. And I
Thank
look
you,
forward to support.
Nachiketa, for this virtual meeting. My request to you, please share mobile numbers of all the participants today, all 6 of Purvi's number I have.
Right, ma'am, I've already, I'll send
Jata,
it.
and I really hope we meet physically soon, one-to-one.
Yeah. Definitely, definitely.
Thank you, everyone, for joining in.
Thank you.
Can
Thank
I
you.
add one thing? Can I just add one thing?
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
I just wanted to thank Dr. Mittal for giving this opportunity to know so many, strong women, who have faced challenge and they have reached, some position in their life, where young people, younger generation can look up to. So it's so nice to bond together in this platform. And thank you, Dr. Mittal, for
that's
providing this.
really common. Many a time I make a statement, I'm born to take risks. We have no option. We have no option.
No, I understand, ma'am. I have taken a break from institutional teaching for last 1 year, and I've been teaching nonetheless, around 5 to 6 subjects myself. So I always try, whichever programs I do, to also give back to the law teaching community, right? So I've been organizing number of programs even for the law teachers all the time, and as I've shared with you in earlier today in the afternoon, there are a few programs which are lined up. In fact, we may soon have one of the programs in the workshop with the university from the US for all the law teachers in India. So I'll be happy to update all of you on that very soon.
Thank you, Professor Nachiketa. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.